Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the Dankest Dungeon. I am Matt. This is David, and we are here to build a deck. Magic the Gathering.
In the colors I don't play, which is blue and white.
Yeah.
So Matt's gonna know a lot more than I am for obscure cards.
Yeah. This is going to be a challenge for David, but that's fine. I did give him the option to swap to something else, but he's like, no, let's do this. Here we are.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? We are going to play Hope Estheim or something. Estheim. I don't know. Something to that effect. It is a 2-mana commander, which is pretty neat. In blue and white. It's got lifelink. It's a 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X cards, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Life gain, traditionally pretty bad in Magic the Gathering as a strategy. All it really does is help you lose slower.
Yeah.
Mill, also kind of a bad one.
So
There
let's
isn't-
combine them.
yeah. Mill sometimes helps your opponent more than it helps you, and it's tough to get over the finish line, and people can recur things. Blah, 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 blah. So we're going to do both of them and hope that it works out. General core concept is that since life gain is such an underpowered mechanic, we can theoretically gain more life in one effect in one turn than you could normally mill, which will allow us to kind of turbocharge our mill by playing a bunch of bad life gain cards. Hopefully we'll also have a functioning deck by the end of this, but we're at least going to start there. I have written a little thing to kind of explain that. We're going to gain life. We're going to mill people and hope it works out. We want to gain lots of life at one time because unlike Johnny's Primates and things, we care about how much, not how often. As a result, we are not going to be playing any Soul Warden effects, any of the Soul Sisters. Particularly because a lot of the life gain from those is done on your opponent's turns, and Hope only triggers on your own turn.
And stuff.
Yeah, your own end step. That's part of your turn.
But specific part.
Fair enough. We spent a little bit of time talking about this. Let's just kind of go into it. The first and most important card is
Radiant Fountain.
Radiant. No. Beacon of Immortality. Double target player's life total and shuffle it back into your deck. If you are at 40 life, this means that if you have your commander out and literally nothing else, each of your opponents mills 40, which is pretty good for 4 mana. It's going to go downhill from here, but I think that's a good starting point. Also, to find it, we're going to use one of our game changers, Mystical Tutor. And I guess probably also solve the equation. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole deck.
Yeah.
Good job, everyone. We
Yeah.
put 3 cards in the deck.
Now the fun part is trying to fill it out with things.
Yeah. So, Beacon of Immortality, like 40 cards isn't anything by itself. But we were talking about
double that.
Double, you say?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any ideas for that?
Brewback.
Brewvac. Type it. So Brewvac
Says if an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many. So now they still have 20 cards in their deck.
Yeah, well, they've drawn like 10 or so at this point, because 7 for their opening hand, and then like off return a few times.
Maybe
So-
they're playing partners. So,
Yeah, maybe they're playing partners. It's another one.
So we almost have them right now.
Yeah, with just that. If we have not gained any other life and not milled them with anything else, that's pretty good. We can also double the life we gain, and if we get 2 doublers out, everyone just perishes immediately, sort of, next time they draw.
Those seem like the best effects to put in first before we get to the bad ones we're about to say.
Oh, we're gonna have so many bad ones. To that effect, though, the wind crystal. Your white spells cost one less, which is neat. You gain life, gain twice that much life instead. A nice little synergy from the Final Fantasies. We can gain twice our life total in life. And mill everyone for that many. Same thing as Bruvek, sort of. There's also a Rock's Petitioner or something.
Not familiar with many life game. Oh, yeah, the
Yeah, Faith Mender.
Faith Mender.
That's what it was. Lifelink 1/5, and if you gain life, you gain twice that much life instead. Better. Let's see if there's any others, just for fun. Yeah, we're gonna be putting the water crystal in too. Don't worry about that. Hammerout's Archive is probably okay. The fact that it has the card draw part is nice.
Yes.
I don't know that we necessarily want Boon Reflection. It's kind of the same thing, except that, like, it's just that.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
the more we put in, the better our small incremental mills will.
Sure, I guess that's true.
For now,
we'll put it in for now.
We have what, 90 cards left now.
Yeah, we're getting there. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, those aren't doublers or anything. The third way to double our commander's effects is to
Play Spark Double.
play Spark Double. Double our commanders. We're only playing cards that cost 4 or greater. Well, I guess Bruvek's 3. But anyway, Spark Double allows us to copy our commander without killing it due to the legend rules, so we get to build them for twice as much. In addition, Rennicus's Vile Duplication is another way to do that. It creates a token copy line, and it isn't legendary, and we can find it using our spell tutors.
Roaming Throne.
Roaming Throne does it as well. Wow, someone typed.
A lot of these we might end up taking out later, but we're just kind of stacking.
I don't know,
good
this is the
effects
perfect
first.
mana curve right here. This is what perfection looks like.
And when you keep a 2-lander, you can play a commander at least, right? You'll draw
Yeah.
another.
It'll be fine. Speaking of the water crystal,
Another crystal.
the water crystal. So the water crystal says your blue spells cost 1 less, which is neat. If the opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill that many plus 4 instead. And then for 6 mana, each opponent mills cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. The thing we mostly care about is that middle paragraph about milling plus 4 cards. With our commander, it's not all that impressive. It basically says you've gained 4 more life this turn, so you mill 4 more cards equivalent. However, because we are already working on milling our opponents out, we're going to play some amount of just dedicated mill stuff. Probably not a lot, because again, it does not affect the board or help you win in any way. But we got to put a couple in.
I mean, Altar of the Brood comes to mind. Each trigger of that is now 5 cards instead of 1.
Yeah, pretty neat. Also, 1-mana artifacts, very easy to find. Probably something that we're going to look into a little bit more.
The 2-mana.
Mesmeric. So if you haven't looked up how these function together, Mesmeric Orb, whenever a permanent becomes untapped, its permanent controller puts the top card of the library into the graveyard. That is mill now. Mill's a card. If you have the water crystal in play, they mill 5 cards instead per permanent they untap, which is pretty cool, I would say.
We gotta stop people from utilizing the graveyard.
Yeah, we do need to do that. At the very minimum, going back to our 1 mana artifact theme that we don't actually have yet. Soul Guide Lantern, pretty neat. It just allows us to take problem cards out of people's graveyards as we're milling them, or cycle if you don't have any, or weird desperate cards.
Drain it. Makes it so they can't cast any.
Draft those as well, yeah. It is our second game changer, I believe. Point.
What was that? Okay.
Yeah, but it's probably worth it.
We're still debating if we want to put Rest in Peace in.
Yeah, the thing with Rest in Peace is that it is a very powerful effect, and it will sometimes just solo your opponents. They're very dedicated graveyard stuff. But it means that we can't do things with our graveyard, and we might want to if we are Mesmeric or water crystalling all over the place, because we're going to be milling ourselves with that too. Hopefully them more, but yeah, we got to figure that out. Yeah,
Ways to gain life.
ways to gain
We
life.
do want to try and utilize our commander as much as possible.
Yeah, we don't want to be all in on Beacon of Immortality, cool though that is.
Sarah Ascendant is a nice turn 1 play.
Their Ascendant gains life, kills people real quick.
And it's a 6/6 at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Winning the game in general. Or with dealing with our life total. Eldar Sovereign.
We could play Felidar Sovereign. I don't
There's an upkeep trigger.
really like Felidar Sovereign, but
Yeah.
we'll put it in for now. It does win the game if you can't mill people out for some reason.
And if no one has interaction for a whole turn.
Yeah, other than that, like it's a large lifelink creature, I guess, but people should be killing it. Also, it costs 6, which is kind of the opposite direction that we want to be going.
Yeah.
Beacon already cost 6, so
You want to go into your loss of life with Children of Corliss?
sure. So another very powerful effect for cheap, we could look into Children of Corliss. It requires us to be able to lose life in order to utilize it, especially since it's only on our turn. That Hope does the mill stuff, so you have to be able to lose life on your own turn to really be able to use Children of Corliss. But we can probably find out some way to do that. See if we can find anything. Aether functions more. We'll put it in for now. I don't know how much of the top part is going to be relevant or how frequently the bottom part's going to be good, but we can put it in for now. It's not really a storm deck, and it's also another 4-drop. But for now, that seems fine. Most of these are either a one-time effect or actually gain life. Fortunate. We could do this thing, but it's very bad. It's basically a 5/5. I mean, sorry, a 5-drop, 3/4. It doesn't do anything except block. Okay, I guess.
That's kind of expensive. Your
It's kind of expensive, and it doesn't do anything. So we're probably not going to do that. Night of Souls is another thing. And a Vecna. So this has an interesting line right here that you can pay 1 life for each card in your hand to equip it instead of paying 2. If we have Children of Corliss in play or in our hand, we can pay a bunch of life over and over again to equip it to the same creature and then sacrifice children to gain all that life back, which is a huge swing of life. And the rest of the time, it just helps our lifelink commander do more damage and gain more life.
Yeah.
So it's an artifact, should be easy to find, in theory, I hope, if we build the deck right. Mystic Forge sort of lets you pay life, but it's
Processors right there.
Phyrexian Process is an interesting card. So this card was good in Standard in Urza's Saga. As an NPC, you pay any amount of life, you pay 4 and tap it, and put an XX into play, where X is the amount of life paid. It's a way to get some blockers, I guess, if you are not specifically using Children of Corliss, which is probably better than all the other things we've seen so far. And then if you do have children, like, you can pay a bunch of life and then sacrifice.
And then you can just start making threats, if anything. Just start making 39/39s or whatever.
Yeah, if you got all the things in place.
Yeah.
So that's pretty reasonable. And that would be good if the bottom ability was also pay life. But it's not. Although it would be like busted probably at this point. Well, I don't know. I definitely consider Glacial Chasm, but it's very slow, so I don't think that's a good idea.
Just make it a proliferate deck and be fine.
Yeah, proliferate a bunch specifically to kill yourself with.
Yes.
Yeah. No, good on that. I think
There is an enchantment that it's an aura we can equip, and it's whenever you gain life, target the creature it's equipped to gains that many 1/1 counters. So that would put a really fast clock on everyone, since our commander itself has lifelink.
sure. Yeah.
Something. I forget what it's called though.
I don't know. Well, I don't know about the aura, but there's an enchantment that does it. Oh, there's this one too. It's a 6-drop.
Light of Promise is
Light
what I
of
was talking.
Promise. Okay. You can put it in for now.
Because if we can gain life prior to,
Or it just grows a lot and is Voltron-y. Next pair got 6. The other one from Red of Vitality. You gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on target creature for 1 life. It's in play and adds to our 4 drops, which we needed more of. Yeah. Let's try to sort these out a little bit. All right. This one is A. This one L. Mill.
how many lands? You just have a static package, right?
I have some packages. Tagged. I have Bolt lands, which we might cut specifically. Mary's Call. I don't fine. Lands, there's 3 to cut. These we need to cut verdant catacombs. Probably add first magic. So in mainland and Proudland. Otawara.
Yes.
Ganjo. Way is pretty okay. What was the new one from Duskmorn?
Oh, if you control a plains or an island.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Blood Farm Village. That one seems. We could also play Nimbus Maze, I guess. Like, fine.
Yeah, we're only two colors, so it shouldn't be too hard. We would hope
Yeah.
to get to that.
Yep. There's probably some more we could put in. Urza Saga's probably good.
Yeah.
We might want to
Inventor's
run
Fair?
Inventor's Fair. And both the colored artifact lands, Seat, and Ancient. Facilitate some of the other stuff that we either have going on or are going to have going on. Like Fox Opal, which for some reason, not a game changer. That's neat. Also Soulring. Did I make a thing for the rocks? Basic rock. There's some rock. Look at them. And Signet is already. Sorry.
Well, if we have two game changers, is there any game changer you know of that would be really good in this deck that we would definitely want, or is there not?
There's always the One Ring. It is an artifact and it does some things.
Drawing, well, with that enchantment you were talking about, you have the One Ring out. You can just pay.
Yeah.
If you're drawing like 4 cards, you can just pay 4 mana and gain 20.
Yeah.
Question mark? I don't
Okay.
know. I forget what the enchantment's
Yeah. Okay, so One Ring is a pretty good thing. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it draws a bunch of cards. Also makes you lose a bunch of life, which is useful if you're doing Children of Corliss stuff, which I haven't really gotten back to that. We're probably going to do a little bit more with the children, but
Yeah.
we'll do that later. I wonder if I pick this first. Doesn't really do it. Alert. These are all corner case things that we might tackle later. So something that we were talking about as well, one of my personal favorite cards that I never play because it's bad. Words of Wisdom. So the card Words of Wisdom is not the card that I meant to put in here. Words of Worship. Words of Worship. says you can pay 1, and the next time you draw a card, you gain 5 life instead. This is a horrible deal. But if you're trying to mill people out, it says pay 1 mana, discard a card, sort of, gain 5 life. Seems fine-ish. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to be playing swords in the deck. As for swords on our own creature, it kind of depends on if we can get any creatures that are big enough to do that, but hopefully.
Isn't there one
Could
that
definitely show up.
its power and toughness are your life total?
There is... It's a 7-drop, I could play it.
An avatar, I would assume. Seems like
It is. It's Sarah Avatar. 7. Conveniently, also from Urza Saga, which is where the processor's from. I don't know if we're gonna go that deep. Maybe
Yeah.
not. Another bad card that costs 4. What we're doing today. Wall of Lost Dreams. Wall of Lost Dreams. If you gain life, you can pay X, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life you gained to draw X cards. This is fine. It is a way to draw cards. And if you happen to have
words of worship.
Words of Worship in play, you can basically pay 2 mana to draw or to gain 5 life any number of times. It is fine,
Something.
I guess. I don't know if this is going to make the cut. It's another 4-drop.
I mean, with the other stuff we're playing, though, it's just card draw, which is always good.
Yeah, it's good with all the other card draw that we have. Or, I mean, all the other life gain that we have. Some of it doesn't actually initially gain you life, like Boon Reflection. In which case, maybe I take those life gain. They don't actually gain life. They help you gain more life once you start gaining. This one does have life link. Life link. Not really what we're this one's either. All the rest of them actually gain life though. So our actual life gain right now is what, 5 cards? Yeah. Probably not enough. We probably need more if we're gonna make this work.
The big one is just the beacon, and then the deck was done at that point, we thought.
Yeah. I mean kinda.
Yeah.
Uh
Approach gains you life and wins you the game, but that's also 7 mana twice.
also a 7-drop, yeah.
We need to find good value.
So depending on how many white cards we have, Harder Sands is a card, which a lot of casual decks were based around. I don't know if we're still doing this, but you can pay 1 and reveal white cards from your hand and sacrifice it to gain 3 times the amount of white cards you reveal. So essentially, for 2 mana, if you got 3 white cards in hand, you gain 9 life. Sure. It's a fine rate. Generally speaking, people would then find ways to bring it back from the graveyard, which is cool and all, and something that we want to do anyway, because it lets us get our children back. We've sacrificed children.
Or if we do Agatha with Heliod, we can just start putting counters on random creatures and they all get deactivated.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to do Heliod Walking Ballistics, that's just winning without our commander.
Yeah, Walking Bliss is not great anyway, but I mean, it's. I guess we're going to be playing a number of 1-drop artifacts and all that.
Isn't Heliod 3 mana?
Yeah, it's 3.
I'd much
I'm
rather-
saying Ballista is
Yeah. I'm just saying I'd rather have that and than that bad enchantment I said before.
No.
It's actually a good card.
You're good. We can't play it. That's the wrong one. Yeah, it's Sun Crown. It does run into the problem of it caring about how many times you gain life instead of the amount you gained, but it can at least do something, I guess. I don't know. We also, so Heliod doesn't really do anything if we don't have specifically Agatha's Soul Cauldron. And Agatha's Soul Cauldron doesn't really do
Anything.
a ton. I guess we are milling people out, so we could like randomly snipe creatures, and it's Grave Hate. Probably fine in the deck, but I don't know that we're going to be like tutoring for it very frequently. We have much more exciting things to look for, like Firexian Processor. I'll leave it in for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we cut it. Yeah, so talking on the thread again, Martyr of Sands, Children Corliss, both 1-drops, creatures. Esper Sentinel, another one. That is also an artifact. I think care about that.
Ranger Captain.
Ranger Captain is.
Gets your 1-drops.
We're kind of going with that. Ranger Captain of Eos. It's even special Final Fantasy version. We could also play, if we want more 4-drops, we could also play the original Ranger of Eos. I remember it's been too long. People have stopped playing it. Yeah, it is Ranger of Eos. Okay. And then we get 2 of them. I will again put it in for now and probably regret it later. Getting them back, though, is the thing that we should be concerned about. I know that there's an enchantment from Modern Horizons something that lets us get a 1-drop creature back every turn. This one. Maybe on step, choose 1. You gain a life, return a creature with mana value 1 from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Can you layer that with your commander, bring it back, and then gain life before your commander's trigger?
Sure can.
Perfect.
And if you don't have the thing in your graveyard, you can gain a life, which is fine.
Yeah.
Not great, but it's something that we're looking to do.
So, also with everything requiring an end step and during our turn, do we want to play Abolisher? Like, it just protects us to do whatever, or is that not really something?
We could play Grand Abolisher and similar effects. Yeah. This one's pretty good. It's also 5 mana, but like
Sun Titan's another thing that returns things.
Sun Titan does it too. It is 6 mana.
Yes, but it returns 3.
That's true. But a crop mate can get things back.
But if we play Rest in Peace, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're probably not going to be doing Rest in Peace. We're going to be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Extraction Specialist gets something back once, I guess, is fine. This card's very funny, and I am going to build a deck with it at some point. It's not for this, though. The cool thing that you can do with this is that you can loop it with Loyal Retainers. Because Loyal Retainers is a 3-drop that you can sacrifice it and return a legendary creature from your graveyard to the battlefield before you've attacked on your turn, because it's portal through kingdoms. And then if you have Stack Outlet, you can just keep doing it. It's pretty cool. But, alright now.
Yeah.
Guardian Scalar, also a good card, but 5. I don't know that we want to go with Helping Hand Deep or Imperial Recovery Union. Any of that.
Some are just one-offs, and we want a recurring or a consistent engine.
This is actually pretty good here. If you cast a non-creature spell, you can return target creature card with mana value equal to that spell's mana value from your graveyard to your hand. We have a lot of 1-drops, which we should.
Yeah.
We can start recurring things relatively okay, and it also has lifelink, which is neat, and it's from Final Fantasy, which is also neat.
We are also kind of milling ourselves with the Mesmeric Orb.
Yeah, could be relevant. That's synergy.
Accidental.
Yeah. Formal Bear is pretty neat, but I don't think it's...
It is an untap effect, but
Yeah, we need a way to tap it though, and also it's 3 mana every time you do it. Proclamation of Rebirth, you can forecast it for 6 mana, and during your upkeep you can get a 1-drop back. People used to do this in Constructed with Martyr Sands. It was called Martyr Proc. Yeah, Corbin went on a weird diet, and so he's somewhat different today.
yeah.
Not always Corbin, just saying. Corbin's the one that's usually free and wants to deal with my stupid ideas, so he's usually here, but nope. Time we got David.
Yeah. I couldn't find a reason to not show up. So.
Yeah, I trapped him. Could probably take out all these. Fine. Actually, what was... Okay, extend. You have to exile it. And if you only had to sacrifice it, we could probably do something with salvaging station or something with that, but I don't.
Isn't there is it an Archon when a creature dies without flying, return to the field with flying or something like that?
It's a moth.
We could Luminous Broodmoth, but
yeah.
that'd be if we're going. I mean, we kind of are going on 1-drops right now.
Kind of, sort of. Also, it's another 4-drop. We are doing okay. Yeah. How are you today?
Doing all right. Definitely struggling with thinking of good cards, but when it comes to milling and life gain,
this deck is not going to be good. It's fine.
Hey, what about the trap that mills? When is it just one person though? It's not even each opponent. Archive trap.
Archive trap is just I think just the player that searched.
Probably. Well, maybe.
Which 13 cards is cool and all, but like, we could play Tushar. Tushar does it. Tushar is pretty cool. It's another 4-drop. And you know how much I like 4-drops.
Yeah.
We'll put it in for now and probably regret it later. But, yeah. Okay, we have a few ways to get back. Few ways to get back are stupid 1-drops. In I actually had a Tushar deck for a long time. It was pretty cool, but it is a mono white combo deck, and I quickly grew tired of it. Yeah, there aren't really a lot of things that do both, except for our commander. That's kind of like the glue that ties these together. The bread to our peanut butter and jelly, as it were. But yeah, we're trying real hard. Oh yeah, water crystal stuff. Since we're doing that, So, in addition to Alter the Brood and Mesmeric Orb, a few different things that actually benefit us in some way would be kind of neat. We were kind of looking at Sphinx's tutelage, which, if you haven't read this one before, in the context of when you have the water crystal play, you mill them for 6, and if any 2 of the cards share a color, they do it again.
It is only target opponent though, which is a little annoying.
Yeah, it's not like super great, but it does do other things.
Psychic corrosion is when you draw, each opponent mills 2, which would turn it into 6. A 3-drop enchantment. And it hits everyone.
Yeah, Psychic Corrosion's probably fine. If only I could type.
The 7 and 8 drops we have that do things probably be just as good as if we had smaller things with the crystal out.
Problem with these dedicated mill cards is that random mill is not very good most of the time.
Would we want to play? It's
Texas Rev can only you're the only one that draws the cards. If you want to make someone target, you have to use like Blue Zenith or
what
Sword
about
of Genius.
more like Draenith affects the soul jail, like your opponents can't cast spells from the graveyard because Soulless Jailer, is that the one?
Yes, that does stop a lot of our recursion stuff though.
Is it opponents or is it all players?
It's everyone.
Oh, no.
Pretty sure. Yeah. Everyone. Which reminds me, we need to actually. We should probably have get this little cauldron in here.
You never know what you're gonna hit.
Yeah, it's good graveyard hate for your opponents, and sometimes you can just like get your own Martyr of Sands or whatever. Yeah, mostly just mill. The main concept of the deck is that you play Beacon of Immortality, which is right here. And if you are at your starting life total, you get to mill everyone for 40. If you're higher, it could be more. Or if you have one of these commander doubler effects over here, you get to mill them for twice that much. Pretty neat. This is probably too many, and also right now our mana curve is not as bad as it was, but it's not good. But we didn't want to go all in on that. So.
We could just play a whole bunch of really bad life gain, trying to get as high as we can life total wise, and then cast the beacon, but then our commander has to not be killed after that and everything else.
Yeah.
So having
reminds
backup. Yes.
And Abolisher and the new one, Voice of Victory. There are some other versions of that as well that we could play, but I don't think they are as good. And playing 4 mana for Mural, I mean, we have some. Probably fix that. We do have the Spellar Sovereign backup. We also have Cradle of Vitality and Light of Promise that can turn our commander very large, in theory. If we need other ways to do things.
Can you sort like mana value 1 or like whatever our target
started within?
No, as like we search when you bring up everything with because if we want to fill some like a 3 drops or something, because our curve is pretty ridiculous, right?
It is pretty ridiculous, but we're also missing a lot of useful effects, like how I would definitely play more ramp than this myself. 6 is pretty low. In addition to that, we have 3 ways to cook creatures, and 2 of them are lands. Probably not enough.
True.
Get Lost, probably a good one. I'm personally fond of the card Bovine Intervention, partially because of the name, but also because it's just unconditional creature and artifact removal. Who cares about the 2/2?
The blue version of that exiles and has them.
Yeah, that one only hits a creature though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The one that hits an artifact as well gives them a 4/4, which is fine. We probably want to play some counter spells. Force of Negation is for some reason not a game changer. Probably because it's a protect your own combo. But it is a good way to, like, not die. Speaking of, Direction is both budget Force of Will and not on the game changer list. It is not nearly as good in a lot of cases, but it is pretty good sometimes. Jason seems to think I have that in all my decks, which is very funny to me, and maybe not wrong. Probably could play some of the other good counter spells. As some of our cheap cards, Swan Song, an offer you can't refuse. I don't know if we want to play Foster Storm, but it's probably not too bad. I mean, our mana curve being what it is, by the time we get to, like, casting Beacon of Immortality or whatever, well, Effective Foster Storm is going to be protecting that, but
Yeah.
it can help out in the early game, I guess. Sun's Veto. Shadowbringers, whatever. Play counter spell.
Mana drain, some
Mana
big,
drain.
big stuff.
Kinda. We have a bunch of counter spells now. That's cool. Probably don't need any more of these. I don't know that we need this many even, but it gives us something to do in the early turns. The difficulty we're going to have with our current curve, though, is, like, I'm going to play this 5-drop and pass the turn with no mana up. Is an issue. Yeah, that's kind of the plan, is to control until we can do something useful, but it's kind of hard to hold up counterspell mana and have 5-drops at the same time.
Yeah.
So we might want to cut some of these 5s and 4s later, but in the meantime, probably Supreme Verdict. Have some kind of a board wipe if we need it. More ways to kill the creatures.
What about the one that gains you life? Vanquish or
Fumigate?
Fumigate.
We could play Fumigate. Gaining life is not super useful on that because it kills our commander. So we're not going to have him in play to do the thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
And that just you can't be covered. So.
Yeah. Oh, more 1-drops. Other runes. Runes and Skrell help protect our commander.
And make it so he can swing in for the damage in the life game.
Protection from a color makes it unblockable from that color as well, which is neat.
And with 1-drop, commander 2-drop, that feels really good. You can get one of those out and then you're commander.
For sure. We could also play Pippin. That vein, it's a 2-drop, but it is kind of the same thing. Another target creature you control gains protection from the card type of creature. Yes, maybe
long-term protection, which is nice instead of just countering a spell once.
We are reaching the 100 mark, but I think we're going to want to go over because
We're gonna cut a lot of
we're going to
things.
cut a lot of bad cards. Probably add some basics. I already have Prismatic Vista in there, which kind of assumes that we're going to have some. Given the curve of our deck, I assume we want no less than 36 lands, so I need to add 2. Or, we're pretty evenly split, which is both a good and a bad thing. Or we're a little bit more white. We probably want to have more white cards than blue cards at the end of it. Just because if we're going to be making Martyr of Sands do literally anything, we need to have white cards in our deck or in a hand. We probably could be playing more tutors for artifacts. Right now, Urza Saga is really the only one that we have.
Is Enlighten the game changer?
Inline tutor is a game changer. We would have to cut one of the 3 that we have right now. I don't think we want to cut the One Ring. I don't think we want to cut Mystical Tutor. What's the other one that we have?
It's the one I said, and I didn't know it was a game changer.
Oh, Granite.
Granted. But that helps with,
Yeah.
like, we're milling, so we're kind of feeding the graveyard, which is outside their hand, and we don't want to play Rest in Peace. So that's just, and it's a nice way to slow down everyone else with not getting their
Yeah.
commanders out.
Yeah, and it's a reasonable thing to curve from your Mother of Runes too. It's
Mhm.
very funny. Is Enlightened Tutor better than Mystical Tutor? Mystical Tutor gets us specifically Beacon of Immortality.
Probably is.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some nice things to look for, but I can't really think of any good wizard synergies. With our commander being a wizard, the only thing that I can really think of off the top of my head is Riptide Laboratory, and we don't really want to be bouncing our commander all that often or keeping up 3 mana to do it. Obviously, we would probably name Wizard with Roaming Throne, so if we have more wizards in the deck, we could probably do some kind of thing there. But, yeah. We So one of the 1-drop artifacts that we could play that's pretty decent is Aether Spellbomb. Is another way to interact with creatures. And if you get off of Urza Saga, you can surprise people sometimes. Pithing Needle as well is a card that I think is actually pretty dang good. Because it will just shut off people's entire strategies sometimes. The other Spellbomb that we can play from the cycle is Sunbeam Spellbomb, which gains 5 life when you sacrifice it once. We could play it. It is a thing we could play.
And it's not a 4 or greater drop.
Yeah.
If we have any doublers or 2 doublers out, that turns it to 20, right?
Yeah, if we have 2 doublers out, that's true. Okay. Just because I never get to play this card. There it is. Sunbeam Spellbomb. I must have played it at some point because I have it tagged already. It's probably in like an egg stack or something.
And worst case scenario, you can draw.
Yeah, I mean, it's like fine. You're probably never going to tutor for it, but maybe you will. You got a life gain doubler and you just need to whack people for 10. Fabricate's probably good. Oh yeah, that was a card that we should be playing. Fox Amber. That's a good card,
Yeah.
and our commander only costs 2, and it does some things. Speaking of spell bombs and stuff, Emery.
I was thinking of that too.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of doing recursion anyways.
I definitely didn't until just now, so. Yeah, Emery's cool.
Auriok Salvagers returns artifacts. I don't know. That's a different way to bring. Is it what's the CMC, one or less,
Yeah. I mean, it does let us recur those things.
or bring our altar back if someone blows it up? I
Yep.
don't know.
It's also 4 mana, but we could play it.
True.
I'll put it in for now. No one gets to play fair REXL juice. Let's put in line. No, I'm not gonna put in Lion's Eye Diamond. Lotus Petal doesn't really work with it. I mean, it does, but you know. We could play Tamashi.
Yeah.
It's gone in a direction I wasn't expecting, but it's fine. I don't know how often we're going to be doing this specifically, but if you pay 2 mana, you can return Sunbeam Spell Bomb.
And it's only 3 mana, it's not 4, so you might as well just get rid of Aureax Soldiers because we have enough 4 drops.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And you can just hit bigger things with.
Yeah, I don't know how often we're going to be doing that unless we like accidentally mill and of Vecna and need it back or something, but I mean, we did throw it out before because we weren't really thinking about it, but we could just play top and Mystic Forge. We have started to put a bunch of artifacts in the deck, and top is another 1-drop artifact that does the thing.
And you can get it with Saga. It's
Yep.
good to not do almost.
Almost.
We always could just shoot ourselves if we get over 100 and then gain it back, and then go to end step.
We have Children of Parlous, yeah, technically.
We're playing.
I mean, if you're over 100, you can just kill 2 people and then figure something else out.
Well, you gain, then you just get the third guy. But shooting yourself would be funny because we were looking for ways to
True.
gain it.
Yes, I guess.
Yeah, this is something.
In top forge. I guess we don't have any way to make the thing cheaper right now.
Yeah, we're not really doing reducers, so it's
Yeah, that's probably not worth it. But we could play Ethereum Sculptor.
we're just gonna restart this whole deck now.
No, I don't think so.
Well, Archivist Fogmount is a good card. It gains you life, but they'd have to search on your turn. Or
You
it just
can get
adds to our
people
life total
sometimes.
for.
If they're not paying attention and they fetch on your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Polywog Prodigy. It's just another card draw, dork, source of card advantage, and if you happen to Cradle of Vitality it, you can draw lots of cards. Maybe. Similarly, Mr. Remora is just a good card.
Yeah.
Draws cards.
All these good cards that are under 4 CMC we forgot about.
That's weird. Well, when you start looking at like playable cards, I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
We want more enchantment artifact removal, like a disenchant or something. I feel like there's something better than disenchant. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's bad because it's 3, but Generous Gift just hits a permanent like Beast Within, so it just anything that just hits anything is always better in my opinion.
Yeah, but we're in white. We do better.
True.
Deep. Less than 3. Right. It's good with Peshar. Apart from that. Disempower. There we go. That's a card I've opened before. Exercise isn't too bad. It is a sorcery, which is a little lame, but either it's intervention. That's a good one.
Great.
Let's do that.
Gain twice
You
X,
can
right?
gain twice X
Oh
life.
my gosh.
If you just have some stupid amount of mana floating around, we can do that. I guess.
Yeah, that's the other part of that card actually fits into our deck.
Yeah. Why not? Otherworldly Light is also pretty good. I'm gonna put it in for now. Guys blow up over and stuff. Fishbowl is currently in the deck, yeah. I don't know that it's very good in the deck, but it is in here.
Because we're not really storming, so it's not like we're gonna get big value. It's just
Yeah.
we might get over 50 life.
With all of our 4 and 5 drops in the deck, it is unlikely that we're going to be casting more than 2 spells a turn most of the time. But if we do get above 50 and we've got Children of Corliss in play, we get to gain 50 life after we shoot someone, which is pretty neat. We could, okay, so scenario is we're at 54.
Mhm.
We have Aether Flux Reservoir in play, we have Children of Corliss in play, we have Fighting Grace in play. Oh, it doesn't work, never mind.
Wouldn't it?
Because you can't respond to the thing with.
I mean, they're both end step.
Yeah, you can gain twice that much life and then shoot 3 people in the same turn,
Oh,
but you can't target yourself with it and then gain the life. No, you can't. Yeah. Okay, I remember now. So you target yourself with it, gain the 50 life. You sack the children, gain the 50 life. You take the 50 damage. End step, you get the children back and you sack it again to gain 50 life again. You will have room for 100.
yeah, because you're responding to the target of yourself to gain the life back that you paid.
Yeah.
Is what? Okay.
So you end up losing 50 life twice. Oh,
Yes.
then you actually gain 150 that turn. So you will have room for 150, which is not different than 100 because you can't have more than 99 cards in effect.
Mm-hmm.
But it is funnier.
Yeah,
All right.
it is a way to pay life. That's what we were looking for.
It is a way to pay life. That is what we're doing.
We're not going to
Yeah.
do top combo and just win like that. We're going to have fun with it, I guess.
So the issue with Leyline, apart from the fact that I can't spell it, type it, it is Ley. I just can't. Ley line.
What's the ley line?
I think it's Hope, yeah. The problem with this ley line, it only gives us 1 more life per life we gain. If we were going to be doing something like Soul Sisters, where the amount of triggers that we care about, or rather it's the amount of times we gain life that we care about, this doubles the amount of life that you gain, sort of. With us trying to gain like 50 in a stretch or 25 or whatever, it will add another 1 to 5 maybe, which isn't really worth the card, I don't think.
And it's another 4-drop, right?
It's another 4-drop.
I
Or
mean-
it's 3 if it's in your opening hand.
Yeah.
But
If.
yeah. I don't think that's really what we're looking to do.
Do we want more like ramp? You asked that before when we added Mox Amber.
Yes, I remember. Yes, we probably do.
Wait, we have talisman. What's the filter one? Azorius Signet?
Azori Signet? This one?
Is it there? Oh, nice.
At this point, we're probably going to be reaching into colorless
Mind
rocks.
Stone.
Mind Stone or similar. Metal Torque. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Our commander only being 2 mana means that we don't really need to Rampart to get it out, but
It lets us progress and still have mana up for counters the next turns after he's up.
I, I'm not sure that 8 is enough, but I think that we can leave it there for now. I guess. It's either that or we add something like Worn Power Stone or something.
Doesn't it be what Grand Dynamo would be after that? 4.
Could add Mind Stone. I don't know. I feel like this is
For starters, it's
fine. Yeah.
We'll see when we do our practice hands whenever we get to 100 cards.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be awful. But okay. Let's group by mana value real quick. Let's have a couple more lands actually. If we're not gonna be running that much ramp.
True.
We're not gonna be running that much lamp. We're not gonna be ramping that hard. We should probably add more lands. Much as I loathe to. Gemstone Caverns is sort of Chrome Mox if it's in your opening hand and you squint hard enough.
And being in 2 colors, it should be alright if it's later in the game.
Yep. Kind of my thought. Are there any good utility lands we could play Academy Runes? If we wanted to.
Yeah. Because we have all the channel. And we have the sink into stupor and everything. Yeah, it's right there.
Yep, those are all in here. Except for the 7 mana Fake Angels thing.
Does that also mean Witch Enchanter's in here?
Witch Enchanter is in here, yes. We could play. I think that one's a good target. Well, we could play Starting Town if we wanted to. This one's target opponent. Yeah. Target opponent knows half their library, which is very funny with Brooded back.
That's 5 mana to do. I thought it was 3.
No, it's not bad, but at that point, I'd rather just be playing Ruins, I think. Starting Town is pretty decent if you get it early. Otherwise, we can take the Cycling Land or
Cycling Land might not be the worst.
there.
The ones from MH1, right?
No, the 2 mana one that is a Plains and an Island. That's what I was thinking. Unless you're thinking of the ones that are 1 color and they cycle for 1.
Yeah.
Those are from Onslaught originally, and I would probably not bother with those.
Okay.
The other reason that I'm considering the other one is because you can fetch it.
Oh, yeah.
That is useful in some way. If we nick those, I don't think we're. So, make nick those worth it. The Cavern Souls, put it on Wizard. I don't know how often people are going to be countering this door. Wizards we got. Probably just a few. 6.
Oh man, we're killing it.
We have so many wizards. Yeah, I can put in camera souls. Huh. I don't know if this card is necessary, but it is fine, so why not? Okay, let's start off by cutting some cards. Specifically the cards in these columns. Okay. Keeping this because it's a land. Do we want Felid or Sovereign?
I feel like we want to try and win using.
Okay. So,
I would say
this one's 0, sort of. This one's a land. These 3. I think Celestine is pretty neat. It is a way to gain life, and it is a way to get our stuff back.
Yeah.
Boon Reflection and Alhamrat's Archive are doublers, but we have other doublers.
Alhamrat's better than Boon because
For
it
sure.
gives you the double draw.
Yeah, and it's an artifact, which means that we can find it with Fabricate, which is not bad.
I'd say get rid of Boon then.
Sure. Around. Okay. 4 drops. Aetherflux Reservoir, fine. Cradle Vitality, sure. Commander Doubler. Do we want to actually play Phyrexian Processor? Because it's really only good if we have.
Probably not. I mean, we
Shoulder
have
Flux.
the Aetherflux.
Yeah, I mean, this allows us to do it if we have less than 50.
Yeah.
Ranger of Eos. This lets us get
2.
2 things. Children of Corliss and Martyr of Sands if we just want to gain life. Otherwise, like Mother of Runes and Esper Sentinel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Sarah Ascendant.
fine.
Faith Mender is a doubler. Roaming Throne is a doubler. Spark Double is a double. Green Verdict is our only board wipe, and we're not really going to get a cheaper one. Tashar's Recursion. I assume we have enough historic spells. If we look at our artifacts, we have 22.
We don't really have a way to like bounce them. Looks like a.
Yeah,
We can come back to that after we go. We'll
it's
maybe.
good. Water and Wind Crystal are kind of the reason we're doing this.
Yep.
Not entirely, but like. Low Lost Dreams draws cards. Drawing cards is good.
Mm-hmm.
3 drops. This is recursion. This is a doubler. This is recursion. This is tutor. Action. Hand of Vecna is maybe a little suspect, but I think we need more than one way to pay life, and it is at least also a way to gain life. Sorta.
And in a perfect world, in an opening hand, you could have Children of Corlos, then your commander, then Hand of Vecna, pay a whole bunch of life to equip it,
Yeah,
and then pop it, and just start
Roll
out
everyone
turn
for
3 with
34 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. It's probably worth it.
Helia.
This is a land. Light of Promise.
Probably not. That one seems too slow.
Yeah, since
Put
we
your
have,
cards in.
well, we still have Cradle of Vitality, and that card is also slow, but it at
Yeah.
least isn't an aura.
Yeah, it kind of sticks around. You could
Yeah.
put the counters on Esper or something.
We might cut it anyway, but the
Yeah.
fact that you can buff different things, pretty neat. Psychic Corrosion, it's good with the Water Crystal,
But
and that's
yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't play it.
Mm-mm.
Ranger Captain's pretty good. That's a land. This lets us get mostly just Beacon of Immortality.
Yeah, and like wasting a game changer. I think it was better we went to Enlightened Tutor than Mystic.
Yeah, but do we even want to solve the equation is the question. Because what else are we tutoring for? Like Lorien Revealed?
Probably not then.
Gate? That's intervention?
Probably the best one. Like, I mean, the deck we're running, but I'd say we don't really need it.
Sphinx's Tutelage.
Worse.
Probably don't need that. We're not going to add a lot of mill in here, are we? That's probably fine though. Tamashi is another way to recurse stuff. It is kind of mana intensive because we have to bounce lands to do it, but it also draws cards.
Yeah.
Also wizard for roaming throne for what that's worth.
It does go from graveyard to battlefield.
Yeah, so does Emery though, kind of. Well, you cast it, but
Yeah, but well, I guess you can do all. Does Emery you have to follow timing with?
Yeah.
Okay, because that one you can just activate on someone's end step before your turn.
yeah, if it didn't say activate only as a sorcerer.
I'd say we'd come back to that one. See, it seems like it could be okay, but I don't know. Oh, you're gonna. No, I didn't. I don't play blue white, so yeah.
That's fair. Tamashi's pretty cool.
I'm just used to them playing on everyone else's turn. And
Trick Mage gets us a whole bunch of things. Words of Worship is a very bad card. I want to play it.
Yep.
So we're going to. Okay. We need to cut 7. Agatha's Soul Cauldron is Grave Hate, and we probably need that. In addition, it can just randomly spike some things.
I do like that. I feel like
good. Feel like
I like sniping. You never know what you're gonna mill, and sometimes it's just the best thing ever.
yeah, Pittman might be a little expensive for this. Like it's cool,
Yeah,
but
we do have a couple of effects of that already, and it same CMC as our commander, so
yep,
it's
it's
kind
hard
of
to
feels
curve.
bad.
Flusterstorm. I don't really like cutting Flusterstorm, but also I don't know that it's good.
Blue white is what? Exile target for creature. Oh, just straight up exile. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good. We don't need to think, I guess.
No.
Okay, we got 4 cuts to do. We can either start back up here or
What's our curve look like?
not the worst. We still have a few 4 drops.
Should probably start 4 drops.
Look at the 4 drops.
Cradle is probably one of the first ones to go. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good, but
It doesn't actually help our game plan.
No.
It's just funny. We do have 4 doublers, 5 doublers in this. I think that's good though. 1, 4, 5. Okay, we got spark double.
well, that would make it a wizard. Probably I do Faith Mender, because if we do get roaming thrown out, then the spark double will trigger with the roaming thrown to where the cleric won't, or the rhino monk won't. That's my only. But the gaining life is more important than the trigger. I guess it's the same either way.
It's kind of the same, yeah.
I probably spark double is very telegraphed too, to where they know you're going to copy the commander, to where if you just play the elephant, probably nothing will happen. They'll just go, oh, I don't.
It is a rhino though.
It is probably the right one. Because if we're doing roaming throne, it just makes more sense to leave anything that could be a wizard in.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I buy that. That's fine. We're down to 11 4 drops, which is the same number as we have 3 drops. Let's look. We only got to make 2 more cuts. Let's do them by tags and see what lands. No, we could cut some of this stuff, but I don't want to. It's probably
Good enough
correct.
reason, yeah.
How much
Yeah,
actual life gain do we have, by the way? 7-ish? Yeah, that might not be enough.
probably should take out the other incidental mill stuff and try and gain life any way we can to make our commander feel better. I don't know.
Yeah, I really want to do this water crystal stuff, but
Well, the water crystal at least.
water crystal isn't any
Triggers.
good without these 2. It's
Oh.
like not that good.
Yeah,
It's just +4.
probably don't, because then we don't have enough effects to make water crystal good then, really.
Yeah. That's probably true. That's sad. I wanted to do that. Probably had more life gain, I guess.
Well, we just cut that monk, and now we can add a
Yeah.
put it back in. I don't know.
It doesn't really gain life though. You need to.
Gain life to gain life.
Yeah.
You need to
Thing.
gain life to double it.
Yeah. Well, let's just look at cards that cost 3 or less that gain life.
Sure.
It might take a minute, but
That's fine.
okay. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on it. It's doing Johnny's welcome. We do really want to do things that gain like a large amount of life, because if we're not doing that, then
Yeah.
what are we?
What about just creatures with life link? That could be good in the deck. But
Yeah. I don't know. The problem with lifelink is that they are also probably going to be hitting for a very small amount.
yeah,
Like you'll be gaining 2 or 3 life, which, like at that point, if you're consistently getting in for 3 with a creature, like, you might as well just be dealing damage. I do like Blessed Alliance, but I don't think 4 is enough. Blessed Reversal seems really bad because it's only matters for our turn.
they're in order.
Turn Orb, sack all our lands. There we go. I mean, you're not wrong, it does gain a bunch of life, but
Then
I'd rather play this. I don't really want to play this.
yeah.
Mana gain 5 is...
Well, what's the one that replaces itself? It's for 2. It's a game 3 draw card. That's something.
That's also pretty bad.
What's Colossal Plow? Forgot. I knew there was something weird where you pay a
Yeah.
whole bunch.
Something weird, alright. There is a card that if you're... It sets your life total to 26. Which is good with the pay a bunch of life stuff.
Yeah.
And also with children, of course, because if you're above 26, you lose a bunch of life, and then your children are back up. But the card's really bad the rest of the time, so I don't think we really want to do that. Hopefully we're only in the D's. We've got time. It'll happen. Something will be here.
Something good will show up.
Someday. Fine Offering's not bad, but it's also not good. Like, it being an artifact removal spell is pretty cool, but... Elixir of Immortality, that gives us 5 life.
I mean, we're playing the sun orb or whatever, the egg.
Yeah, we are doing that. That one we can recur though. Like the only reason that it's even worth considering is the fact that we can bring it back with Emery and whatever.
The paladin with the wand or whatever tap deal 1 damage, and it has lifelink. So when you gain the life, it untaps. It was in standard at one point when I started playing, which was like War of the Spark. But that would require you to have that and the equipment on it. The equipment really doesn't do anything.
Glimmer Post, we're probably not going to do. Whenever you cast a blue, black, or red spell, there we go. guess I didn't put Inventor's Fair in our life gain stuff, but it does only give you at most once per turn. So that's not like.
It does double as a tutor, so probably why.
Juju bubble. Yeah. I did open one of those. Like, why would anyone ever play this card? Hit the halfway mark.
Nothing is jumping out.
Or, I mean, we only need one card. We probably need more than one card, honestly.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We only have space for one card. Arrow Escape. Gambit does gain life, but it's probably not going to gain like 1 or 2. You want a lifelink creature, there's one.
We've taken out our Altar of the Brood.
Yeah. We've taken out the Altar of the Brood and the Cradle with the whatever, Vitality. Yeah. We could play Peace of Mind. Discard a bunch of cards to gain 3 life each. Seem very good. I don't know that we're drawing enough cards to make that worth it.
Yeah. What does the file go back up? If you gain life while you have 5 or less, gain twice that much. That's a weird life doubler if we pay.
It's very good with specifically Children of Corliss if we have Mana Sophia to life. Yes.
But
Most
it
of the time,
itself, it does
it's
not
red,
gain
yeah.
it.
Yeah. And yeah, it also doesn't actually gain life. If we pay enough life, Pulse of the Fields returns to our hand. There we go. I believe I've overestimated the number of bad life gain spells there are.
Putting in the Soul Sisters.
No. No, I don't think so. There's got to be like a 2-mana gain 7 or something. There isn't green.
Can we just have Weather the Storm?
This storm would be very good. I admit. Gain 4 life.
Halfway there.
I could play this. This is, yeah, it's really good. It's like half of Eviad's intervention. This one is kind of the same thing as Martyr of Sands, but it's less good.
One time.
Yeah, it's a one-time thing, and it's 2 life instead of 3.
And you have to have the white cards in your hand.
Yeah, but it is a 1-drop. We could gain 6 life for 1 mana with just 3 cards in our hand. It's the best I've seen so far. I'm gonna put it in for now and hope that we can do it. But we don't have very much life gain, so it's probably in the deck. I saw it earlier and I'm like, no. But, target player gains 5. I think this is a revelation if you have a lot of it. 8 mana to gain 5 life. Doing Sun's Bounty, we can recover it. That might not be the worst thing I've ever seen. Technically, if we sacrifice Martyr of Sands or something and get it back, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
It's actually really funny with Martyr of Sands specifically because recover triggers before the ability activates, so you can pay 2 to put it in your
The
hand. to count
synergy
it
is
itself.
just off the charts right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Oh, what about, well, it's not life gain, but the new monument that mills people for what's in their graveyard. That's a weird double, the exhaust one. But we're looking for life right now.
We're kind of looking for life gain, yeah.
It's just weird because we want to gain life to mill the cards, but all the good cards are mill cards, and they're not even good
Yeah,
cards.
that's kind of a bad sign for the concept of the deck because the whole idea was that we were trying to make it so that
I think the first thing you said game plan was gain life, and we have not a lot.
because the only reason that this deck theoretically works is that we have easier ways to gain life than mill people, and at this point, it's not looking like that's actually the case. This is not bad as card draw. This is peace of mind, but worse.
Union of the third path draws a card, but we need more cards in hand for it to do something.
The thing with that though is like we get 5 cards in hand, then it's 3 mana gain 5 cycles, which is not really that good. See? There we go. Mill and life gain. Doesn't do either particularly well, but it is. 2 mana gain 5 again. Will is pretty neat, but it doesn't actually gain life. And that's the end of the list. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're playing that weird recovery card.
What was the one that you wanted to take out?
What's that weird? What am I considering?
Well, we are at 100, so you did add one, and you said
Yeah, probably still don't have enough life gain though.
no.
That's really okay. Well, let's try it out and then probably give up.
Yeah.
Okay. This hand is fine. We've got life gain, we've got mana. That's about it. But maybe that's all we need on another land.
Yes.
Okay.
Surveil time.
Surveil, save us. Put the mat. Shuffle, force negation. What about Sheltered by Ghosts? Sheltered by Ghosts is an interesting removal spell, but our commander already has lifelink, and I don't really know what else we would give it to use it as life gain. It's like fine. Doesn't really fulfill the issue that we're having right now, though. Wizard. There's our wizard, and I'm going to play this too. And step, except probably not cycle that because the rest of our hand is lands anyway. Never mind. Archivist. 3. Fear me.
We're off to the races next turn.
Yeah. Next turn we can mill everyone for 5 whole life. Or cards. By not drawing a card. We're probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
This is not going great. I would say. Yeah, we don't really have anything that works with anything right now. Let's see if that was just a bad draw. This one doesn't have any lands in it. I mean, it's two. Sort of. It does have the beacon, which is nice, but it's not very good at doing anything. Can't even cast their commander.
No.
That's a mulligan. We've managed to get less lands. Try that again. This is an interesting control hand that doesn't really do any of the life gain stuff.
I mean, it gets us a board wipe turn 4 if we just don't do anything till then.
Yeah,
That's something.
Granite is something. You're not wrong. Throw this out here. Keep up offer. Turn wizard. Aha. Energy. Player commander. Keep up offer and force negation. Oh boy.
More ramping. More ramp. Yeah.
That sure doesn't do anything, does it?
No. We found all the mana in the world, though.
There's children of Corliss, no way to pay life.
Maybe we can convince the aggro guy to swing at us. They ain't that bad.
Yeah, but it doesn't work though, because we need to gain life during our turn. Okay, let's fish it one more time. Yeah, this isn't great. I would say we need more life gain in the deck. Okay.
How many creatures do we have?
How many creatures do 20?
There's that a Johnny, isn't it gain a life for each creature you control or something like that? The Planeswalker.
Yes. It's even 2 life. Just gain. Another one.
No, I'll keep going down. Planeswalker. Strength of no, yeah.
Number of creatures you control plus planeswalkers. That would be like a good solid 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
What about any other planeswalkers? The big Teferi gains you life, right? Or is that a 5-drop?
5-drop to fairy does well. The good one doesn't.
Oh,
I don't know if any of the other ones do though.
it's the one thing we really don't have is planeswalkers.
That is true, but there's probably a reason for that.
Typically, they do all their things on your turn, but they also
It's too late. It's too late.
never mind.
Yeah, playing it's kind of a Voltron would be interesting. The problem is, at that point, why not just kill them with commander damage? And like, what is the rest of the commander really doing at that point? And I'm not really sure that it is doing anything. Okay, so theoretically speaking, we have a deck in front of us that does nothing. We can go a few different directions with this in the time that we have left for the stream. We can either try to double the number of life gain cards we have, which is probably going to be more expensive things because the things that cost 3 or less we already looked at, they're all bad.
I mean, we were ramping fine, so maybe the bigger things aren't the worst.
Sure.
Because early we want to get our commander out with maybe a mother, and so.
All right.
Or
we could do that. Alternatively, we could go all in on Beacon of Immortality and just like turbo Beacon of Immortality and cut like most of this junk. Or call it a failure and go. Okay, let's try to look for large life gain things. That's gonna be interesting. Again, the issue isn't that we don't have the mana for it, it's that we don't have the mana to do that and also like interact in any way. We could use Go-Go to double Hope's triggered ability, but that requires not only a lot of mana, but also for us to trigger Hope's triggered ability in the first place, which is proving to be difficult with the current configuration of the deck. I did think about that though. That one and Styanic Resonator are both pretty decent. Maybe we just play Styanic over Bruvak, because Bruvak is literally only good with our commander. Will does help if we can gain enough life, yeah. Problem with Will though, so if we're using Will to reduce our spells, and spells we're trying to reduce the cost of our life gain spells, we can't gain the life with the spell before we cast the spell. Like putting the cart before the horse and all that. Because we need to be able to gain the life, will reduce the cost of the spells, and then the spells that we're trying to cast are the things that gain the life. It's trying to Resonator though. Let's click this forbidden button over here and just see if anyone else has any ideas that are good. Or obvious things that we missed.
Authority of the Councils is, well, it's not during our turn though.
It's not during our turn.
That's turning out to be harder.
Yeah, that's kind of being the issue right now. This is also Commander Doubler, isn't it?
It is.
It's probably better than some of the junk we've got. It's okay, this is another protection spell that we play, but tough. We could fog on our own turn. But it does gain potentially a lot of life. Blind Obedience does happen during your turn, you're right. Or
yeah.
That's probably worth playing because Extort gives you 3 life each time. Again, I'm not certain how many spells we're going to cast during our turn per turn, but
it's just weird to try and control and
yeah, having +3 on it though, +3 on top of whatever we're already doing is probably fine. We should also probably be playing Manamo just because we got the One Ring in the deck. Island or something. Yeah, that's about it from this. It's true, it is good with Will. But Will's not really good the rest of the time. So. Our commander doublers, I think we probably cut this. As much as I like double drawing cards and all that. We'd spark double at that point.
yeah, because if we're not gaining life, we're not doubling anything. That's
If we were to look at
just good cards.
Will decks, because they should have some pretty decent life gain in them, in theory. Eventually get some Light of Hope. Probably much better in low than it is plus. Vintage journal was something that we were thinking of.
Yeah.
That's probably okay, I guess. Tezzeret is pretty good. Yeah. It also finds the One Ring and taps the One Ring. Well, if he's at the yeah, sure. I gotta assume these decks work. Somehow. Immortality.
Oh, that land entered 8 life instead. That's your 8 life one you were looking for.
Yeah, okay. That is honestly not the worst.
It gets the ball rolling at least. Congregate 2, but it's 4 mana.
It is 4 mana, but it is probably a lot of life. So that's
Yeah.
probably not that bad. I had kind of looked at that before and I wasn't super interested. Maybe Sanctify instead of one of our other removal spells. It's like gains life and does something relevant.
Yeah.
The offerings maybe even better. Okay, yeah,
We can
it's
take out
probably
the
fine.
Yeah. The little more conventional ones and use more removal that gains us life to kind of help us with the gain department.
Oh, look, Sunbeams.
Recommended 15% of 5,000 decks. But a lot more than I thought that thing would be in. Did you do blind obedience? Because that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put it in. Adjusted. Okay. Well, that's more cards. Anyway. Um. Fun. Like aggregated. All right, let's cut 6 cards that are not life gain, and then we can try fishing again. Yeah. Leon and Elder. That's probably it's probably not going to gain us that much life over the course of the game. It has the same issue that Soul Warden has. It's just 4 artifacts instead. And again, gaining life on other people's turns doesn't really help. So if they're doing things with them. Making a treasure deck is an interesting way to go about it, but there isn't like a ton of ways to make treasures in blue-white. Like there's some, and you could certainly do it. Uh, but that's probably a different deck than what we're doing right now. And even then, like, I don't know how many treasures you can theoretically make in a turn with blue-white, but uh, if it's less than like 5, like milling your opponents for 5 is not that significant. I disagree. Aether Flux is not a very good way to gain life in the deck because we're not planning to cast that many spells in one turn. The card, if I were to build around one specific card that gains the most life, is Beacon of Immortality. Because it gains a whole bunch of life in one turn. And all of these cards below Aether Flux probably gain more life on average than Aether Flux does with this deck.
What's our layout for blue to white?
We are still more white than blue, which is good.
Yeah.
Or a couple of cards that care about that. I did add a land, so we do need to cut a land, and that's probably.
Should we take out the like bovine intervention and put in the ones that gain a slave? Whatever the one from.
Yeah.
Isn't the recommended for the. Unless you can just search by like destroy and gain.
There was a 2-drop and there was a 1-drop. That was the 2-drop.
Yep.
1-drop was like lucky something.
Yeah.
Right? That sounds right.
Yep.
Okay. This artifact.
Now if we do that and extort.
In thing is though, like these gain 3 life cards still only mill for 3, which is not great.
Even with the doubler it's 6, which doesn't feel that good.
Yeah.
All the good mill cards don't deal with life gain.
Yeah, this is gonna be rough, I think.
I mean, we could just, build Aether Flux, Mystic Forge, Top Reducer, but
Yeah,
then
then
we could have
why are we
any-
playing this commander?
we could have any blue white, or we could have a colorless command.
Oh, colorless makes it really hard to find them, but
Are there any other life gain commanders we could try an EDH track?
think so. Will's kind of the only one that I can think of that is like sort of similar because it also just wants you to gain a bunch of life on your turn.
Yeah.
If there are any others, I imagine that they don't overlap quite as well. Okay. It's also possible that we just need more card draw, like ways to get cards, so that we can find the good versions of the things that we have.
Mm-hmm.
That is also another thing that our commander doesn't do is draw cards. Yeah, I'm gonna cut like a spell bomb, but just fun stuff. Double blue, getting rid of a little bit of that. Kind of trying to focus on white cards for the most part.
What's your thought on Soul Cauldron now that we got rid of Mesmeric Orb? I
It
guess we're
is-
still milling them.
Yeah, we're still milling them, and we still need to get rid of things. We are, in fact, already playing Beacon of Immortality. It's like the first card that we put in the list.
And we said the deck was done, and
Yeah,
if only
we should have stopped there.
Yeah.
Should have stopped when we were ahead.
98 lands.
Yeah.
Today.
Tezzer's cool. I don't think so. He's kind of expensive, and there's nothing that we want that bad apart from the One Ring. Maybe that's a good enough reason. It's the One Ring.
It also gets Aether Flux. If we want to shoot someone, I guess, but
Yeah, it gets. Sometimes. I'd probably play Ponder over Anticipate, but I don't think we just want like random cantrips in the deck. Maybe we do though. Finding the things that we actually want is kind of the issue,
yeah.
perhaps. I'm gonna take out Sanctum. Not that much of that.
2.
Mm-hmm. I mean, looking at the list, it's like, wow, we have so many good cards, but
We get a doubler or 2 out, and it's going to be something. And then when we goldfish it,
it's really bad.
it's super bad.
I guess since we have Tezzeret, we probably don't need.
Trinket Mage gets us Soul Ring, Lantern.
Box Opal, Sunbeam Spellbomb. I guess it doesn't give us
Yeah.
anymore, so maybe that's fine to cut. We brought it back down to 100 cards. It probably still doesn't work. But we're gonna try real quick. That's not enough lands. Try again. That is enough lands.
With a gemstone.
And a way to gain life. Maybe even 2. Okay. We're gonna assume that we're on the play here, even though like gemstone's only good on the draw, but for the fun of it. Skrell is a white card, so we're gonna keep it because of what our hand currently does. Play this. Yes, this and give us a Skrell. No. Let's do this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 white cards.
That's
Which
8?
is 8 life. I mill for 8.
We don't have a blue pitch for us.
We don't currently have a blue card to pitch the force now. That's not like ideal.
I feel like if you played Draenith though, what is that?
Maybe we need to be going all in on Skull Clamp. I'm thinking about it. Another 1-drop artifact, and we have a lot of 1/1 dorks that we can get rid of. And by all in, I mean just like the other card. We are once again having the problem of we're not actually drawing any cards. We did mill for 8 though. We managed to trigger our commander once. Skull Clamp. Let's add a little bit more card draw, and by a little bit I mean probably a lot. Maybe take out some of the weaker life gain cards and just try to find the good ones. Rough as that is.
Yeah.
Gaffer only works if we're gaining. Yeah, the problem with making it a Voltron deck is that then it's a Voltron deck, and like, why are you milling them out? How does that help you in any way, I guess, is the question, when you could just hit them for lethal commander. And if you're not hitting them for lethal commander, you're probably not milling them out either. I don't know. I feel like Daxos or something would be a better blue-white Voltron deck if I were trying to do that. Um, card draw. How does draw a card? What is card draw?
I don't know.
Sure. Okay, basically another One Ring. Why not?
4-drop, fit the theme. We got to pay for it.
Very
Well, we
nice.
don't have Ristic Study. Is
Yeah.
it a game changer?
Sure is.
All right. Well,
At this point, do we need that more than Dranith?
probably because
Maybe.
Draenith doesn't do anything except. I mean, if we were to mill, then it would do something, but we're having troubles even doing
Getting to that
so
point, yeah.
I'd rather have Ristic over Draenith.
I'm re-adding Dranith. Yeah. Fine. Heuristic study. Get that. A couple more wouldn't hurt, I think. Solar Sovereign we had in the deck. The problem is that it doesn't actually contribute to our game plan. It just like is a thing that you can drop into play at 6 mana.
Of the 5 goldfishes we did, we got to 48 once.
Yeah. Which you only need to be at 40, but like if you assume your opponents aren't doing anything.
Dawn of Hope triggers whenever you gain life, and if we just swing with our commander, if we can, though, he's only a 2/2. But you pay 1, I think, and you drop there. Dawn of Hope when you pay 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. That card's not very good. Plus we're in blue. We should be able to draw cards, I would think. I don't know. We've got
We have Esper Polywog.
9 card draw engines, 2 just like card draw spells, and 1 or 2 ways to search for some of those.
Well, how many 1/1s do we actually have, though? We have the protection ones.
Martyr
Oh.
Sands, Children of Corliss,
Yeah.
2 of the protection ones are 1/1s. Sarah Ascendant if you're unlucky. Yeah, I guess we'll get Esper Sentinel. Rather get rid of it. I guess we could put in
Fairy Mastermind. But it's also not life gain.
yeah, it's just draw cards, so
Otherwise, there's Ledger Shredder too, but that you have to discard.
Ledger Shredder also doesn't really die to Skull Clamp, but I mean it's a good card, but it doesn't really help us find the thing necessarily. I'm gonna cut the just like do nothing cards. Scent of Jasmine.
Honestly, your words of worship, we never want to activate because we're already having a hard time drawing.
You're
Which is
probably right. It is really good if we can get a card draw engine going. That's a little bit better. Not quick. For fun. Just for funs. Okay, we've got an Enlightened Tutor, so that could find us the One Ring or whatever. We can't currently pay for it, but we do have 2 mana to get us started off. Blind Obedience or what have you.
We could,
Direction looking real bad.
yeah, Enlighten for Soul Ring, turn to Delny. But then we wouldn't have it. And then play
We would have to Cavern for. Thing is, getting Delny into play doesn't really do anything.
No, because we don't have any.
Yeah.
Like
I'd
if
rather
you start extorting, but then
I'd rather use this to find card draw, which Esper Sentinel, I guess, or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Let's see what happens. Hey, it's card draw, sort of. Here's our basic planes, end step. Go find a soul ring. This card's pretty good. And we're gonna play this on. Well, I guess we can play it on Wizard. Play it on Wizard. Why not?
yeah.
Soul ring. I think we actually play Blind Obedience first.
It slows our opponents down.
Yeah, it's not like we're triggering our commander right away anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Slows our opponents down, and if we can get another untapped source of colored mana, we can extort our commander. That's not colored mana, so it doesn't work. But we'll still play it because it's cool. Good thing. We can cast Well of Lost Dreams and extort it. Doesn't really do anything other than just ding our opponents for one. But in the future, extorting will give us the ability to Well of Lost Dreams. Now, okay. We're gonna cast. Really, only having one colored mana is rough. Let me tell you. We're gonna cast nothing because it's all bad. Oh no.
So if we're not gaining life as well, even with having, I guess we do have. We'd have to pay for extort and then pay for the.
Yeah, which is like kind of a problem, but it's only because we managed to find lands. An issue.
Let's run it. Let's run it back a different. That one.
Well, yeah, we did put a bunch of lands in the deck, and we keep running into these no landers, so I don't know what's going on. I guess this one's got one land.
Yeah.
You really want more than that. That's why we're running 38 lands.
Yep.
Gemstone cap. Okay, this hand is reasonable. It has multiple ways to draw cards. It has life gain. It has way to double together. If we were to go second, we would gemstone pitching probably Aganjo.
Yeah.
We play 38 lands, we should draw more.
Famous last words.
Hopefully.
And we have a. Look at that.
Yeah,
And we have a surveil too, but
never worried.
if we wanted to do anything else, so
Yeah. I guess technically this is still turn one.
Yeah.
Anyway. At this point, since we're not necessarily going to be gaining life right away, we'll probably just play Polylog. Try to snipe someone in the Soul Ring or something for cards. It's going to be a little bit hard to tell how many cards we're drawing off of this. Could be 0.
Yeah.
I guess we can't do Soul Ring right away because we need to first the Moxen or whatever. Fine. Turn 2, we can stack this. Fountain. Player Commander. Ball. Play Martyr of Sands and be ready to gain 3 life with it later. Turn. Probably go this into Sopranic Resonator.
Yeah.
Find, I guess, an island at this point. Islands left. Probably best with the wrong land then. Yep, probably did. Probably need to put more islands in the deck. We want to be, well, no. Go.
Did we surveil with the archive?
Didn't. That card is white, so we're going to keep it. And it gets back Martyr of Sands, which is like kind of the point.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't quite have enough mana to play Celestine and activate Martyr in the same turn. So I think I would rather Shorakai.
And we don't know if it draws off the power.
Yeah.
It's always
Presumably it's drawing something, otherwise it's bad in the deck. There we go, there's a land. This, play this. We could gain 3 if we wanted to, but turn. Ooh. Neat option. So the cool thing that we can do here is we can discard a Ranger Vios. That's Celestine. I guess we can't do the cool thing, which would be if we had 1 more mana, we could sack this, gain 6 life, and then get this back, get more things. Well, card draw is good. That's all we've learned so far. I'm gonna try 1 more, and then we're probably gonna call it. We got the combo.
We do.
Alright, let it rip. Want to be as high a life total as possible when we do this. So this 3. Gotta pay 1 life with this. Cast Hand of Vecna.
39. We could play Mox Amber to manipulate down to 1 possibly if we wanted to activate at 5 once.
Yeah.
We're
So
at 39.
we're at 39. If we pay 5 life, we go to 34. We want to get to, means that we activate at 5 times, I think it is.
15 will bring us to 24, and then 4s will bring us to 0.
Okay, so we want to do it twice. Bring us to 29, yeah, and then 7 more. Okay.
Yep.
So, for those of you who weren't here when we were theory crafting out of our minds or whatever, we can equip for 1 life for each card in our hand. So we're going to do that on our commander twice, going down to 29. We're going to cast Mox Amber. So I've only 4 cards in hand. We're going to equip it 7 more times to go down to 1 life. Then we're going to sacrifice Children of Corliss, gain all of that back.
We've done it. We've milled them for 38.
Yep, we've gone back up to here and we've milled everyone for 38.
Wouldn't we go up
which
to
isn't
40?
enough.
Because we lost 1 from the land?
We did, actually. Yes, good point. So we mill everyone for 39.
Hope there's not a graveyard deck. No. What does Hand of Vecna do to the equipped creature? I forget.
When it attacks, it gets bigger based on the number of cards in your hand. So we can attack and gain 6 life as well, so we can mill them for 36. We want.
We got them for 38 plus 6, 44.
Yeah.
And that's essentially the god hand, I guess.
Kind of, sort of. From here, it's an issue of can we find literally anything else to do?
Yeah.
Which, if we can get Beacon of Immortality, that helps. But...
Well, if Beacon's such a big deal, maybe we do use Mystical Tutor instead of Enlightened.
Yeah, I mean, Enlightened's really good too.
It is.
It's a Soul Ring and a 1 ring and other rings. Orkai.
Do we
really need it?
Drain? Is Draineth already out? I forgot.
Draineth's out, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
we put it in for this study.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that was the best.
Yeah, so our deck builds don't always work. If you want to see this deck in greater detail, it is linked in the description here, and it will be on the Dank Dungeon page eventually. I don't know that this experiment was necessarily successful. I think we had a good idea going in, and either the cards didn't support it, or we didn't stick to one thing hard enough.
The commander seemed way more interesting before we started building.
Yeah. We had some ideas. I think that you really need to like focus on one piece and maybe even like be a control deck with like you assemble either a way to get back Children of Corliss every turn or Martyr of Sands every turn, or you just hold on to Children of Corliss until you have enough doublers to pick it out in one turn. But I'm not sure that the whole like try to be an aggro life gain deck works.
Yeah.
So it might need to be like you build up resources until you can just explode one turn, kind of a thing. Kind of like Storm, except that you're only casting like 3 spells, so it's not really Storm. I don't know. I think there's something there. I think that you could get something to work if you tried hard enough, but we've only spent apparently 2 hours on this, and I don't know about you, but I spend like hours and hours when I build decks for the channel, even just trying to make them work. And then there's Brent out here doing it like the night before, but
If it was something I was seriously planning on playing on the channel, I'd be tweaking it for a long time until I found something I felt good about, which the way it sits now.
Yeah, I'd scrap it and start from the start again. Choose one thing in particular and build around that, I think.
Because we wanted to gain life, and it ended up being we were playing all the blue mill cards, and we had 5 ways to gain life in our deck. So...
Well, now we've got 10 ways to gain life. It's just that they're not good necessarily. Anyway, next week, I don't know if you're going to be here. I'm probably going to be here. I don't know who's going to be here. Me and someone. And we'll build maybe from the new set that's getting spoiled. Blind Eternities.
Oh, is that space?
Space.
We've finally gone to space.
I mean, we did for Infinity, but that didn't count. I don't know. Anyway, we might do that. We might do more Final Fantasy. We might do something completely different. I don't know. We'll see. See what goes on.
I'm sure whatever we do will be a little bit better than this, but we can always tweak this.
Anyway. Don't make promises you can't keep. But yeah. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, or it gave some of you ideas if you think that this commander is cool. I still think this commander is cool. Maybe I'll try again later. Apart from that, like, comment, subscribe if you are not. We have a Patreon if you would like to support the gameplay videos more than this. This we just kind of do for fun. Yeah. Maybe last word.
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
In that case, we'll see you all next time.
All right.